every Android class which you are creating, right? There will be a SQLite database which will be provided for each and every app. It is up to the user whether he will be using that functionality or not. Okay, although you are not using, it will be provided for you. Okay, each and every app has its own SQLite database. See, there is a difference between shared preference and database. So database is a kind of database which you have cloud database. Similar way, you can create a database locally and store all your data. That is how your offline apps works. For example, you take an example of WhatsApp. How does it work offline? Although you have not connected, although without internet, all your historical data, all your past data can be seen. How does it work? Because it will be storing all its data either in the form of database or in the form of some JSON query or in any other format, but it will be storing it locally definitely. Without that, it cannot retrieve the historical data without connecting to cloud or without having a internet. Any app you take. So basically shared preference is used for only short amount of data. So basically it is used for in the format of a key value pairs. But if you have a huge data like WhatsApp and all, if you want to store everything and if you want to have a database, so definitely we can use SQLite database. Okay. So you know that, right? When we have large amount of data only, we'll be using SQLite database. And SQLite database similar to SQL. Have you guys heard of SQL? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So okay, fine. Similar way. So when you are creating APIs for an app, when you're creating APIs for an app, and when we are fetching the data, so basically you will be first creating a table. After creating a table, you need to write an API, I mean the endpoint, and using that endpoint, you will be fetching the data from the table. That is how basically APIs and database will work. You cannot directly use your app to get the data from the database. There should be definitely a API in between, and in the API, you will be having all the connection details to the database and a query, SQL query to basically fetch the data. Okay, that is how basically works. It works similar way. Here, a local Android SQLite database will be writing a query to create a table, and in the table, we'll be start storing our dynamic data, whatever we create. So let us see how do we do that. So I'll be start sharing my screen. I think you guys were able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir.
So let us start it quickly. Okay. This is shared, bro. New project. SQL database. So let's create a new project. So I have created it. Okay. So first thing is my Gradle script. I will set it down. Before this, perfect, done. So let us start designing the one simple page. So will not take much. So I'll just linear layout as usual. Android column orientation vertical. So again, same thing. So let us take two buttons, one for reading and one for saving the data. And then we'll be entering something called name, mobile number and all. Okay. So we'll be entering a data called name, number, and email. And let us see how do we get the data. So I'll take three edit text, two, three, and then as I said, I'll take two button. So simply two buttons will take. Perfect, done. So now let us start writing our code here. So as I told, first will be my name. So it is name I'll give. Then I'll just change this. So I'll just say where is this? As usual 60 dp. Then I'll just say 10 dp. Perfect. So I'll just do this, and this one I'll say hint name. So next thing, mobile number. Then that's it done. So I'll just say hint and your number. Done. So this one I'll say it email ID. Um, so hint enter your mail ID. Okay. So basically, shared preference will be used for short data, and this will be used to store huge amounts of data. That is what database will are. So let us say save button height 60 dp Android colon without margin and so height 60 dp Android colon layout margin what is as usual 10 dp. So I'll just give the button name as read button. So I'll just say the text as save and I'll just say the text as read. So perfect. So now we have done everything and we'll create a on click event handler. So Android colon on click equal to on save button click. Okay. So you just click on this and just say alt enter. So save button is getting clicked. So next thing here also I'll just say Android colon on click on read button click. So I'll just say alt enter. Perfect. So functions everything is created. Next, what I should do? I should link these controls to my local variable. So how do I do that? So as usual in our old fashion. So you just create a local variable, convert it into the control which you want to do, and then call a function called find view by ID. You will say search in the resource of et name. So similar way, m number, edit text, r dot id dot et mobile number. Done. So m email id, edit text, find view by id, r dot id dot et mail id. Done. So now I have linked. So let us again click here and solve this issue. Create alt enter, create field, alt enter, create field, alt enter, create field. Oh, sorry. That's it. Done. So now you observe this. This is the main heart of our application. So we need to create one Java class first. Java class called SQL helper. and basically this class is used. This class is basically used to write our SQL queries and all. So how do we do that? Uh, so I'll just create a class. So helper. So I'll just say MySQL helper. This is my Java class I have created. So now, in order to use the functionality of SQLite database, you need to inherit. So inheritance concept, you know, right? In C++, same way in Java, there is something called extension. So as extension, you need to call the after extends, you need to call the name called uh, SQLite. Sorry, SQLite. So open helper. That's it. See, what did I do? I just inherited a class called SQLite open helper. After inheriting this class, you will get an error like this. So you don't do anything. You just say alt enter. So after doing alt enter, it is saying you need to implement some methods which needs to be done. So after doing alt enter, I'll just enter. I'll do. So it needs to create two classes now. So what are the classes it created automatically? A class called onCreate and another onCreate and another class called onUpgrade. So perfect. We'll leave like this. So again, still it is showing the error. So we'll just create constructor. It seems. So let us create a constructor also. So it is asking us to create a constructor. So let us do. So perfect, done. So I have created everything, whatever errors it is having now. Now I have resolved all the issues and it has created name, everything perfect, a constructor, everything. Now you can see it. I didn't type a single line of code. All the things I'm doing like alt enter I'm doing, and this is the code which has been automatically created for me. I didn't do anything here. So we'll leave this as it is. So instead of this, so here we need to create a table. Where do we create a table? We create a table here. So we inside this function called onCreate, as we know that onCreate is the starting point of any class. So basically, we'll just call our database here by using the object which has been already existing here, and we'll just say dot execute SQL of. So so execute SQL we need to pass, and then we need to give the name. So what name we want to create, what table we want to create, we need to give that table name, and like SQL query only. So how do you create a table in SQL? Simple thing. Table, Create table. Then what is the table name we want to give? So let us take a table name called student. Okay. So create table name, and after that, how do we pass the values? So basically, we'll be having we took three things, right? Like name, mobile number, and email ID. So we'll do the same thing. So name. So I'll just say text. I'll just say number. I'll just say text. I'll just enter email. I'll just say text. So perfect. So this is the what I am passing from there. And same thing I have passed here, like name, number, and email. So I am creating a table with the three columns called name, number, and email. Basically, we'll be giving one primary key also. It's like ID which will be automatically implemented. So we need to give one primary key also. So in a table, we basically do that. So let us add that here. So ID type is integer, and what is the name of the ID? The name of the ID we will give as primary key. Perfect. So we know that in SQL create table is the basic SQL thing which will be running inside our applications, right? So same thing we are creating here with create table name, and different parameters. What are the column we want? First thing is ID, then we want a name, and then a number and an email. Why three columns? Because we are integrated three things: name, number, and email ID. Same thing we have created here, and we have created this table. This is auto generated. So whenever you are entering a new key every time, right? This will be automatically incremented, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. In order, it will get incremented. That is why we have created a ID. This will be there for every table. Perfect. So that's it. Here, how much code I wrote? I wrote first only this SQLite helper and this single line I wrote. Remaining thing automatically it was provided by my Android helper itself. I didn't do anything. So now on save button. So now let us write the code for on save button and save the data which save the data into the database. So how do I do that? First, we need to create an objects for this database class which we have created, and then we need to save the data inside the table. So let us see how do we do that. So how do we do that? So I'll just create a class called MySQL helper equal to new. So it's already there, MySQL helper of. So I need to pass what parameters I need to pass. I need to check. So I need to pass to the constructor. I'll be passing from where I'm creating this. So if I go and see the constructor here, we can see, right? It is accepting these things. So same thing. Let us pass here. So context. What the context is, from which class we are trying to pass, we'll be passing that, and then a name, so any name called student. Okay, and then I'll be, what is the third parameter here? We need to check that. SQLite database factory. Yeah. So as of now I don't need anything, so I'll pass null. So after that, what is my fourth parameter? I need to pass version. Let us give the version. By default of my version, I'll give it as 1. So these are the 4 things which we need to pass. And then we have created an object. Perfect. So let us create an variable here. So let us define this. So we have defined it globally, so it can be accessed anywhere. So my open helper has been created. And then we'll be creating a database object. So I'll just say mdb equal to my SQL helper dot get writable database. So get writable database. So you can do like this also, main activity dot this. So you know, right, what is this pointer? This is how it basically works. So now we have created objects. So here what we have done, so like how we are doing in all the projects till now, we have created a linked our controls to local variables, and then we have created 2 objects for helper class which you have created, and a database object which you have created, getting the get writable database. So now let us see how do we save the data basically. So to save the data, we need to create an object for content values. So content values cv equal to new content values, and then we just say cv dot put off. So cv dot put off. I need to go to my helper. So this is the name I gave, right? So I need to enter the same thing, name comma. So what is my local object here? So I just need to say m name dot. So how do we get the values? Get text dot toString. Simple. Similar way like this, we need to first create a context values, and then we will be inserting it into the database. So same thing. Again, you need to say cv dot put off. So what is the second parameter we gave here? After name, I gave as number. So I'll just say your number, comma, m number dot get toString. Perfect. So next I'll say cv dot put off. Next, what is the third parameter? Email I give. So let us take that email. comma email id dot get text dot to string. So perfect. So now we have created a CV with all the parameters which we have created. Now we need to insert it into the into our database. So how do we insert it into a database with the help of the database object? Here we have created a database object, right? So with this object we will be inserting. So how do we do that? So simple thing, mdb dot insert of. So we need to give the table name where to insert. What is the table name you give? Student. So let us copy this and we'll just say student. Okay. So what does this will take? Column hack not required. So we don't need any column hack. So means column restrictions are not required for us. And then what is the third parameter? Context values. Context values here we have created now. CV, same thing. You will be passing here. Perfect. That's it. So this is done. We have insert. So we need to check whether it is returning any return value. So it is returning long. Returning long in the sense every time a new row has been inserted, it will give the value saying that 1, 2, 3, one row inserted, two row inserted, second row inserted, third row inserted, like that. You will be getting the value. So how do we basically show this value? Let us using toast. So I'll just say long id equal to, we'll be taking this return value. Based on this return value only, we'll be coming to know whether our data has been successfully inserted into a database. So let us use example of toast. Toast dot make text of main activity dot this comma. Then I need to pass id dot toast dot length short and dot show. So perfect. So now basically this is the error here. So we need to pass an string to this value. We cannot pass like this. So we'll just say we need to typecast string dot value of. So basically this will be converting. So my long value I have been converted. So perfect. Now my data has been saved, and every time I will be whenever I insert a new column, it will be returning me a value like one row inserted, second row inserted, third row inserted, like that. It will be keep on inserting. So now we will check how to read the values. Basically, how to we'll be seeing how to read the values. So how do we do that? For reading that, we need to have a cursor. We need to create a cursor object and we need to query the table. So how do we do that? So we'll take a cursor. So cursor object equal to, using the database query db dot. So we need to say query of. So what is the table name we want? We don't want to insert any restriction. So we'll just say table name is student, right? So we'll just pass the table name, comma. We'll be just adding null objects. So it basically accepts almost some 5-6 parameters. This query object query function will accept. So let us pass all null values. Means we don't want to filter anything. 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So that's it. So now everything, we have created a cursor object, and then we'll be writing a while loop to keep on inserting and fetching the fetching our data and then adding it to the and then toasting them. Okay. So how do we do that? So we'll just say uh, while of here dot move to next. So cursor will always be at the starting point. So when we say cr dot move to next, it will be keep on moving to the next row, next row, next row. So we'll be just saying toast again, toast dot make text of main activity dot this comma. So I'll just say cr dot get string. So if we say get string, so it will be keep on getting. So when we say cr, it will be having one value. So we need to say cr dot get string of, we need to pass the value. So I'll just say, so how many values are there? How many values will be there in our row? We have 4 rows, right? So it will be as a array cr dot. We need to pass get string of. We need to say 0. 0 will give you the ID. Okay. Then we'll just give comma, and then we'll just say again cr dot get string of 1 comma plus 11. Sorry. Cr dot get string of. So I'll explain you it. Don't worry. 2. Of 0 plus 1 plus 2. Post dot. So what I am doing, I'll tell you. So I'm just printing all the values with the comma separated. Means, for example, if I enter anything like this, now, so your output will be, for example, in a table, first I'll enter name as Karthik, and then my mobile number as this one, and my mail ID as dot ch at the rate gmail.com. I have entered like this. So when you're printing now, when you're getting error, so what did I told you first at the beginning? Your primary ID will be auto generated, right? So when the primary ID is auto generated, for example, for this, it will be generating it as 0. So when you're reading it in a cursor, right? When you read it in a cursor, when you take a cursor, when you're reading it and you when it is pointing to the first column, I think మీకు Excel I think easy అర్థం అవుతుంది. So I'll just open Excel and I'll explain you. So here when I enter into the database, it will be like this 0 cart, and then it will say 34. Then it will say krt dot ch at the rate gmail.com. So it will be like this. So ella untadi man table. So when we are trying to cursor will be pointing to the starting point. So for example, you have some uh, I mean to say some 3 columns we have like this. So our cursor will be the starting point and the primary ID will be auto generated like this. So when it is starting point, so what will be the position? It will be read it in an array. So the position will be 0th position, first position, second position, third position. So that is what I have done here. So I'm just reading 0 and then 0th position, first position, second position. So third position also I will read it. So what is there? So I'll just say comma, cr dot get string of 3. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So perfect. Done. So now let us see how does it work. Now let us execute this into our application, into our mobile, and see how this basically works for us. So I'll be just I'll be just explaining you one more time. Don't worry. I'll just run it in the app first. Let's go to Logcat. So perfect, connected. So let us run it. Visor. Install. So perfect. So now I'll enter my name. What do I enter my name as? Karthik. So Karthik 1. Number as 567. And then email ID as karthik.ch at the rate hotmail.com. I have entered like this. And after entering, I'll just say click on save. So when I save, what it happened? It came as 1. Okay, perfect. When I read this, so you got it, how it is coming? 1 comma Karthik 1. So now what I'll do, I'll enter one more ID. So I'll just say Karthik 2. So mobile number, I'll give it as 2. And then instead of Hotmail, I'll just say gmail.com. So save. So when I just say save, you got one more number. So now read. So first it has come as 1 and next it has come as 2. You are able to see that, right? So now I'll just say this as 3. Now I'll enter my mobile number as 123. So I'll just say g.com. So something I gave like this. Okay. So now I'll just say save. When I just say save, it is saying that it has saved third row. Now I'll read. So first one, then second one, then third one. Got it, right? So this is how basically it works. So what it happens, right? Although you will be not able to see this database in the backend, like how your a DB file will be created inside your application, and inside your DB file, all your data will be saved and data will be fetched. That's it. Maybe you can stop recording, Devi.